The paradox of familiarity and love. Have you ever been in a situation where you deeply care about someone, put in the effort, check in first, and yet the more you try, the more distant they become? Hours turn into days, and you begin to wonder, did I do something wrong? Why does it feel like they ignore me when I give them my best? It's a painful paradox that many of us have experienced, and it's something that requires us to understand human nature and the deeper psychology behind relationships. Why do the people who love us most often pull away? Is it a reflection of how they feel about us? The answer is often more complex than we might think. First, people tend to take for granted the presence of those they care about. Familiarity can breed indifference, and over time, what was once exciting and new becomes just another part of the routine. Second, love doesn't always present itself in obvious ways. It may not always be loud or verbal. Sometimes, silence is just another form of love. Understanding these dynamics can help you navigate this painful paradox. The paradox of familiarity. Imagine you've just bought your dream car. In the first few weeks, you're obsessed with it. You wash it every day, take it for drives at all hours, and admire its sleek design. But after some time, it becomes just another item in your life. You start noticing the shine, the feel of the leather seats, or the distinct design you once adored. This happens in relationships too. When someone is always there, you begin to take them for granted. Their presence becomes predictable, and we forget to appreciate the very thing we once cherished. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius warned us about the dangers of becoming complacent in life, reminding us that everything is fleeting. We should never take people's presence for granted, as they could be gone in an instant. By embracing the impermanence of life, you'll learn to cherish those around you more deeply and avoid the pitfall of taking their presence as a given. If you've recognized yourself in any of these situations and are ready to change the dynamics of your relationship, start now. Stop looking for external validation and focus on strengthening your own confidence. Like, comment, and share, and remember, true love doesn't need constant affirmation, but rather understanding, trust, and mutual respect. Love is not always loud. We often associate love with grand gestures and words. But sometimes, love is quiet, found in the spaces between actions. Imagine growing up in a home where love was never verbalized but always shown through action. Your parents might have never said, "I love you," but they provided, cared, and supported you without needing to say a word. In relationships, love isn't always expressed in the way we expect. It can be quiet and subtle, manifested in acts of care or simple gestures. As Seneca wisely said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Instead of assuming someone doesn't care just because they're silent, it's important to understand that their way of expressing love may be different from yours. This doesn't diminish its value. It just requires a deeper understanding of the relationship dynamics. Ignoring as a test, not a rejection. Sometimes the person who loves you the most may distance themselves as a way to test your emotional stability. When they pull away, do you panic and beg for their attention, or do you remain calm, composed, and unshaken? Ignoring someone can be an unconscious way of gauging how much you value them, without needing constant validation. This test isn't about rejection but about seeing if your sense of self-worth is based on your own foundation, rather than their attention. Marcus Aurelius taught us to dwell on the beauty of life, instead of obsessing over why someone is ignoring us. By focusing on our own growth and emotional stability, we show that our worth doesn't depend on the validation of others. The need for reassurance and self-worth. Have you ever found yourself constantly reassuring someone of your feelings for them? You might repeat, "I love you," over and over, or prove your affection through endless actions. But have you ever stopped to wonder why this dynamic exists? Could it be rooted in the fear of insecurity? People who need constant reassurance may do so because of an underlying fear of losing the connection they have. However, true love doesn't need constant confirmation. When you trust a relationship and have faith in each other's commitment, there's no need for constant validation. Seneca teaches that true strength comes from within, and love is about trust, not perpetual reassurance. Fear of vulnerability and emotional distance. Have you ever noticed how the person who cares for you the most sometimes pulls away when you need them most? This isn't always about a lack of love. Often, it's because vulnerability can be terrifying. Opening up to someone means giving them the power to hurt you, and not everyone is ready for that level of exposure. Sometimes the ones who love you most may retreat because they fear being vulnerable themselves. They may worry about exposing their own weaknesses, or they might fear hurting you. Stoicism teaches that emotional resilience is key to growth. Vulnerability shouldn't be feared, it should be embraced as a sign of strength. Recognizing that the person pulling away may be doing so out of their own fear, rather than a lack of love, can help you approach the situation with empathy. Emotional walls fear, not love. Emotional walls aren't meant to shut you out, they're built to protect the person from their own vulnerabilities. Fear of rejection, fear of being hurt again, these are often the reasons people build walls in relationships. It's their way of protecting themselves, not rejecting you. Seneca advises us to be patient with others, recognizing that everyone has their own fears and insecurities. Instead of reacting with frustration when someone distances themselves, try to approach them with empathy. Help them dismantle their walls by offering support, rather than pressure. Self-reflection, understanding the distance. When someone pulls away, it's easy to assume it's about you. You might wonder if you did something wrong or whether they're no longer interested. But sometimes, the distance is not a reflection of your worth, it's about their need for self-reflection. They may be going through personal struggles that have nothing to do with you. Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control the actions of others, we can control how we respond. Instead of reacting emotionally, take time to reflect on the situation with clarity and objectivity. Offering someone the space they need to work through their own challenges can be the most supportive thing you can do. Some love is selfish, and that's okay. Not all love is pure. Some people love you not because of who you are, but because of what you do for them. This is a selfish form of love. It's transactional. While it can be painful to accept, it's important to recognize that not all love is unconditional. Seneca reminds us that recognizing selfish love for what it is key. Don't invest all your energy into relationships that are built on convenience. Instead, focus on the relationships that are built on mutual respect, understanding, and unconditional care. The more you chase, the more they pull away. Have you ever chased someone's attention only to find them retreating even further? It's the classic dynamic. The more you chase, the more they pull away. This happens because the more you pursue someone for affection or validation, the less they may feel the need to engage. In relationships, the law of reverse effort applies. The more you stop chasing, the more valuable you become in the other person's eyes. As Stoicism teaches, self-control is the true power. When you stop seeking constant validation, you naturally attract the respect and admiration of others. Those who are meant to be in your life will come to you. The most powerful love is self-love. In the end, the most important form of love is the love you give to yourself. While the love of others is wonderful, it isn't enough if you don't first love and value yourself. When you love yourself, you become immune to rejection and disappointment. You no longer chase after approval because your sense of worth comes from within. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When you master the art of self-love, you find peace regardless of how others treat you. Choose peace, choose self-respect, and above all, choose yourself. Never underestimate the power of self-worth. The greatest strength you can develop is self-love. Choose peace, choose respect, and above all, choose yourself. If you think this content can help someone, share it. Together, we can transform the way we see love and relationships.